There's only one person in the world that I could think about that could single-handedly destroy $6 billion in one day. That person is Zoran Mamdani. What do I mean by that? Well, you have the founder of Citadel, Ken Griffin, who just said that he is rethinking about the $6 billion of investments that they had made, or he had made, into a big project in New York City at 350 Park Avenue, where they were going to spend $6 billion. And out of that $6 billion, they've already spent $200 million buying the air rights, working with communities. They've already broken ground on that project, but now he's thinking about pausing that project because of Zoran Mamdani. But see, what Zoran Mamdani doesn't realize that $6 billion of investment would have doubled or tripled, because that is the risk that investors take when they bring their money to the table. And what was that $6 billion going to do? It was going to create hundreds of millions of dollars of jobs in construction, hundreds of millions of dollars in jobs in marketing, hundreds of millions of blue collar and white collar jobs. It was going to uplift the city, bring more tax revenue into the city. See, the wealthy, I don't want to be fighting for them, because I'm sure they could fight for themselves and defend themselves, but they pay 45% of the tax in New York City, and they pay 50% of the tax, or I think a little more than that, in California. And so when you start to drive these people out of your state, they're going to take their businesses with them, and that means the jobs that are there in those states, they're going to be taking those jobs with them too. And so we're seeing Zoran Mamdani not just destroy and put fuel and burn $6 billion in one day, but we are seeing him slowly deteriorate the city of New York, the greatest city in the world. The smartest people in the world, the most capable people of the world are in New York. The most innovative companies in the world are in New York City. And he is driving these people away. I talk to New Yorkers every day. Just today, I was speaking to a gentleman at the gym when I was working out in the morning. And he said, you know, I live in Washington Heights, and I pay $200 for a rent-controlled apartment, and my roommate's leaving, and I could afford the rent myself, but I don't know if it's worth it, and I'm looking at Jersey City. And I said, look, man, I'm in New Jersey and Jersey City myself, and I can tell you that the grass is not greener, because New Jersey also follows a suit. What I'm getting at is New Jersey, all these other states, do not follow the path of New York and California. That is not the way to bring people into your state. You're seeing a mass exodus of people leaving. You had a net decline of 200,000 people in New Jersey last year. The reason why those numbers were inflated is because I am not taking into account illegal immigration that's happening in New Jersey, happening in New York. You had the same thing in New York. You had a net exodus of people leaving New York City. And if you continue to drive people out, your city, your state, your neighborhoods are going to be destroyed. So I'll give you another example of why Zoran Mamdani, or how Zoran Mamdani is destroying New York City. Not just the fact that he single-handedly burned $6 billion now, where Ken Griffin is like, no, we're rethinking this whole thing. And it's likely going to be paused, is what I believe, but people are trying to get Ken Griffin to stay because they have, you know, money on the line here. And they want New York to thrive because, again, like I said, it is the greatest city in the world. So it's him single-handedly calling out Ken Griffin. It's the fact that he's going into neighborhoods, middle-class, poor neighborhoods, and he's saying, I'm going to put more homeless camps here and more housing for homeless. And the people are protesting him. The same people who voted for him are like, no way. Wait a second. We already have enough low-income housing here. We already have homeless housing for homeless. We do not need any more houses here for homelessness because we know what happens. People don't want to zigzag through a person overdosing. People don't want to zigzag through a homeless person butt naked on the street, pissing, taking a shit on the street. People defecating. I'm sorry, I should be saying defecating because I do want to keep it friendly. like that is not what people want to see. And so when you bring in more homeless people into a neighborhood, it exacerbates the issue that's already in hand. You see more crime, you see more homelessness, you see more drugs. In New York City right now, there isn't a block that you could walk on and not see a homeless person, not see a deranged person, not see someone shooting up, not see someone dealing dope. That's what New York City has become, and we've normalized it. Zohar Mamdani and his voters have normalized it because they're all a bunch of hipsters. They're loose cannons. They don't believe in any sort of discourse. They don't believe in any sort of due process, any sort of law. They just want what feels good to them because it keeps them safe and it keeps them in their safe space. Well, now you have people in New York City, people in New York actually fighting back as they should have been doing 2 years ago when we were warning you about this guy, that this wealth distribution is going to destroy New York City, and you cannot let these fads become permanent in cities like Jersey City, and cities like San Antonio and San Francisco, and like you can't, because it's just a fad. You actually have to have discipline. You've got to have good economics, and you have to be investor friendly. It is really common sense